All right, welcome to this edition of CODAP. You are going to work with data about 4 elephant seals. So to start out with, this is an elephant seal, if you've never seen one. They're one of the largest marine mammals. They're really cool. They can be up to 20 feet. And just to give you a sense of how just massive they are, here are some elephant seals that are hanging out with some emperor penguins, which are about 4 feet tall each. So really cool animals. So this CODAP data set, and you can get there by clicking on the link, or if you go to open, this is the example 4 seals. This shows data from 4 different seals, and in the getting started, it gives us that information. Seals 546, 541, 536, and 528. And what the scientists did is they fit 4 seals with trackers that show the seal's location on the planet, as well as collect data about things like distance, speed, water temperature, and all kinds of good stuff. So you're going to follow the steps in order to accomplish all of this. And I just wanted to show you a couple things, or really remind you of a couple things in order to do this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to close this thing here. So that gives me just a little bit more space to work with. And I'm going to move that text up. Okay. And so I want you to notice that this table, the data table, is split into 2 parts. So the part on the left, that's kind of like the master table, and it shows the 4 seals that we're interested in. And one of these rows, so for example, for 546, this particular seal, that leads out to this sub table, and it shows all of the data for that one seal. And then once we scroll past all of the data points, probably hundreds of data points, it moves on to the next seal. So this is seal 541. So all of those data points are listed here. It's just a way of organizing the table, and you'll play around with this as you follow the steps in the getting started. The second thing I want to show you is that you can drag attributes to the maps. If, for example, if I want to drag to the map, let's see, longitude, I can, just like with the graphs, you can click it and drag it and drop in the middle of the map. And then it will color things according to longitude. And so you should remember that longitude, those are the marks that go from east to west. And so each of these is colored according to its longitude. You can kind of see that progression, which is pretty cool. The next thing I want to remind you of is how to make a dot plot, because that's a task that you will need to do. So to make a dot plot, you're going to click Graph. And in this case, because we're going to want dot plots that show all 4 of the seals that compare them, I'm going to select the animal ID. And I'm going to drag that to the y-axis. And what that does is it gives a section for each of the seals. But I haven't chosen an attribute for my dot plot. So to do that, I'm going to go, how about we'll go for distance. I'm going to create a dot plot with distance. And it takes all of those data points for each of the 4 seals, and it separates them out. Now, if I want to make a box plot, which you'll also need to do, I use the ruler. Click on the ruler and click box plot, and voila, you have a box plot. You can also highlight the mean, the median, and then one more thing I want to show you is that you can select the mean absolute deviation. Now remember, the mean absolute deviation is a way of measuring the variability, how consistent or close together the data is. So when I selected mean absolute deviation, it put these blue sections here. And then when I put my mouse over them, it tells me what the mean absolute deviation is. So in this case, the mean absolute deviation is 10.8 for seal 546. And remember that the larger the mean absolute deviation, the bigger or more spread out the data is. The smaller, the closer together, the more consistent the data is. Finally, in order to export these images, you're going to need to click on the camera and click export, and then save it to your Google Drive. Good luck.